Welcome to the Light, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the Spiderverse that now we are entering, and I'm absolutely pumped for, and I can't wait. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're currently going to be entering the Spiderverse because of Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm going to break that trailer down for you later in this episode. First things first, though, please go check out my last episode, episode 13. I did an episode with my sister Courtney. We broke down the horror genre from all the top franchises, what's coming out now, its rose to popularity, its resurgence in the 90s, and where the horror genre is going now. It was a lot of fun, and it was lovely to have her join me on an episode, and I certainly hope she'll be joining me for more episodes to come. So before we get into Spider-Man, I'd like to break down the What If TV series. I kind of, because that last episode, I kind of missed out to break down the last two episodes. Episode before that, obviously. So episode 2 and 3, so that's been released now. So episode 2 was Star-Lord as T'Challa, Black Panther as Star-Lord. Now, I would like to say my condolences to Chadwick Boseman's family. Recently was the 1-year anniversary of his passing, and it's quite sad. I just can't believe how fast a year has been, and the fact that, you know, when that news did break that he passed away, it was just generally sad. Like, there's not too many people when I hear actors die, and I'm like, oh, you know, that really gets to you. But the fact, like, you know, Chadwick Boseman was, you know, you watch him in those movies, and he brought so much to the character, and you could see the pride that he had in playing that character, and the fact that he was going to be a major pillar in the MCU moving forward. Him, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, like, they were going to be the massive pillar. So now, you know, it's a sad thing, but like, what's going to happen to Black Panther 2 is going to be very interesting to see who's going to be taking up the mantle of Black Panther and who's going to take that role moving forward, because I feel like the character, now that you've introduced it, and the fact that, you know, the pivotal what he's done, they can't just drop the character. I do believe they need to continue the plans they had with him the best they can with all the characters, you know, Shari, all of them. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do, and 100% the character of Black Panther, he or she must be in Avengers 5. So it's very sad that anniversary came up, and, you know, my condolences to his family. Chadwick Boseman, he has recorded 4 episodes of the Marvel TV series What If. And we got the first episode, which I think was fantastic. I'm loving the visuals. I'm loving the little tweaks here and there, and the fact that, you know, how he became Star-Lord and how much he changed, how much the timeline of the MCU changes with him becoming Star-Lord. I love the majority of the characters came back for it. The majority of the voice cast came back for it. Good Thanos was kind of creepy. Also, before I keep going, spoilers alert. Spoilers alert for this entire episode. And Mark and Dean keep telling me, he's like, you need to announce this. You need to announce this before the episode starts. I'm like, I'm sorry, I will. But if you haven't watched any of this and you're a fan, you're just missing out. Please go watch it. So the What If episode starts off very well. Obviously, you know, he gets picked up instead of Quill. And yeah, so Good Thanos is in it. Kind of creepy, but love it. Nebula's really good. Kind of sad knowing that that's what she would have looked like. She looks very, like, humanized about it. Kind of sad that's what she would have looked like if Thanos didn't keep changing parts of her. Every time she lost to Gamora in a fight. I think the Collector, like, I feel like there was a much more in-depth story of the Collector. And how the fact that, like, he's kind of backstory, what he's collected over time. I felt so sad. There's a scene where he the collector shows all his weapons that he's gained, and you see, you know, Captain America's shield, Hella's helmet, different weapons, and then he says that, oh yeah, I got this arm from a rock Korg creature. I'm like, oh my god, he killed Korg. Korg is like one of the most wholesome characters in the whole MCU. You need to watch Thor 3, 100%. If you don't know who I'm talking about. But I was like, oh no, Korg! What have they done to you? What have they done to you, my boy? So that was kind of sad. So I'm loving all the little tweaks that they do in the story. And I do love the fact that right at the end of the episode, two really good things. One good, one kind of poor Peter Quill, is the fact that eventually Chadwick Boseman, Star-Lord, eventually goes back home to Wakanda. His dad's still alive, so he gets to have another moment with his dad. So Civil War never happened, and technically Avengers 2 never happened. So there's a whole timeline that changes just because of that pivotal thing, and what else also changed, especially with Thanos. But there was a little tidbit right at the end where, unfortunately, Ego finds Peter Quill, and I don't think it was a good ending for Peter. No. But yeah, solid episode. Loved it. I love the tribute at the end for Chadwick Boseman. I thought that was really good. Our hero, our king, Wakanda forever. Wakanda forever. No, that was really good. But the last episode, episode 3, was, I think, straight into sixth gear. That was I loved the murder mystery with episode 3, which the premise was the fact that what happened if, that first Avengers, if they all started dropping off, all they started dying. Someone was trying to kill them. So it's a lot of whodunit kind of mystery episode, which is done really well. Loki's actually king of Asgard. He comes down to avenge. Spoiler: Thor's dead. Hawkeye's dead. Hulk dies, and Iron Man dies, and kind of a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them die in this episode. Coming back into it, and then plot twist: you find out that it's Ant-Man. It's Michael Douglas, the original Ant-Man. He's trying to kill Nick Fury's team because the fact that Hope joined S.H.I.E.L.D. and she died. So Ant-Man blames Nick Fury. So he starts killing off all the Avengers. And looking into this, you find out, holy shit, Ant-Man is actually that powerful. Holy crap. They couldn't, you think, oh, Ant-Man's not a very cool character, but he could kill the Avengers at any time. Like that. So I thought, thought that was a really good twist. To me, if I really dived in, I probably would be able to guess it, but I was still guessing all the way through. Now, with all the voice casts that did return, Black Widow, obviously Scarlett Johansson, this is all before the legal issue that she has, but she didn't return for this, and the voice actor who did Black Widow actually also voices Poison Ivy in the Harley Quinn TV show, which you should go check out. It's actually, it's MA. It's actually it's actually really funny, surprisingly for that type of character. But no, it was, and the fact it's Kelly Kaluko, I can't say her last name. Penny for The Big Bang Theory voices Harley Quinn if you haven't seen it. So she's actually gaining a lot of popularity because she's now dabbled with both Marvel and DC. True hero, which obviously a lot of actors have done now. But I thought that was a really cool tidbit, and 100% I feel definitely compared to the first episode, the momentum is boom, forward, let's go. It's definitely picked up, which both, sorry about that, I just hit my foot in the wall. 100%. So both Mark and Dean actually messaged me after watching episode 3 because I'm that type of person who's like, have you watched it yet? Have you watched it? I need to discuss it. I need to get it off my chest. Obviously, sometimes obviously with life in general, you can't do it, which is why I made this podcast, to still get it out there. So Mark's little tidbit was the fact that he loved it, and he definitely kicked episode 3 kicked into gear for him. Same with Dean. They both thought episode 3, which is almost akin to WandaVision, it was kind of episode 3 that kind of kicked it into gear and started going, all right, I'm all in, yeah, cards in, let's go. So that was their little 2 bits, and I agree with them. Like, I'm looking forward to this week's episode, and see what comes in next episode 4, and see what little tidbits. And they have also confirmed season 2, and it's interesting because they have said that obviously some of these stories will continue. So obviously this is based in the MCU. Obviously, I'm very interested to see how this will all play out, and how much is this actually going to affect the main obviously the main movies, live action movies? Because there's a whole rumor that the reason why, obviously the particular reason, the fact that they've launched this now after Loki, is because obviously the timeline has been broken. Every multiverse is going madness. I didn't mean to do that. Multiverse of madness. And the fact that that's why they're telling these stories. But apparently Haley Atwell is going to make a cameo in Doctor Strange 2 as Captain Carter. So that's another reason why they did this now. So I'm all up for that. I feel like that she's been a solid character all the way through the MCU. She's done a lot, and I feel like, if she does have a spotlight more on her in the main timeline, not the TV show. And especially if you pick up as Captain Carter, I'm down 100%. Let's see that live. Like, there's just so much they can do now, and who's going to pop up? You don't know now, because obviously the multiverse is boom, anything can happen. So I'm definitely down for episode 4. Love to see where that's going to go, and hopefully that it keeps building momentum, keeps going up, and I'm loving the dark tones and dark turns that do happen, because it's not depending on the age of your kid, it's not necessary, especially the last episode isn't exactly I wouldn't say fully kid friendly. It's not exactly go get it. It does get a little bit dark, and when you start looking at them all and go, oh, wait a minute, this is a bit fucked up. This is a little bit fucked up. But if you haven't gone watch it, please go watch it. Episode 1, 2, and 3, I think definitely third one's kicked into more of a gear, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to all this. One thing I'm not too sure how I'm going to look forward to it is the fact that as I'm recording this, my wonderful, lovely state of Victoria in Australia is currently still in lockdown. Currently, the end date is still not in sight. Sorry. It's just going to be a long lockdown. Unfortunately, it's not in sight, and the fact that we're coming up to September, and there's a possibility that the fact that not might be able to see Shang-Chi, which I'm so pumped to see. All the reviews for Shang-Chi, the early reviews are really positive, and it's kind of gutted. I have to be honest. There's a lot of things in lockdown that you can't do. Obviously, unfortunately, where I'm situated, I can't see my family a whole lot because we're in a 5k radius, and I miss my family, and I do miss that environment. But the one thing that's on par with that is I absolutely love going to the movies. It's one of the biggest reasons why I started this podcast and why I'm so invested in all of this. I love the theater experience. Eating popcorn, going see on the big screen. Movies are meant to see on the big screen, like The Dark Knight, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. These movies that you need to see on the big screen. John Wick. And I just love that environment. And I thought the fact that we'd be over lockdowns, obviously not. We're going to keep having them. And unfortunately, everything's been pushed back to this point of the year. And unfortunately, we're still in lockdown. So hopefully it ends soon. And hopefully, I'm still pumped to try and see Suicide Squad, Free Guy, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Venom 2. Venom 2. Morbius is next year. Spider-Man. I'm forgetting one. Don't quote me. There's one I'm missing in between all that. Nah, it'll come to me. I'll just blurt it out randomly in this podcast. I'll be like, that's why I missed. But yeah, I keep forgetting about Van 2, which recently there was actually a rumor go around it might get delayed again until next year. But I think that's been debugged. I'm like, you can't. Eventually, I understand it sucks, but you eventually you got to pull the plug and be like, yep, release it. Like, you can't keep pushing it back, especially the MCU timeline. They can't, because you push one back, another... Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yep, that's it. That's another one I'm looking forward to. See, told you. Ghostbusters is another one I'm looking forward to, which apparently early reactions for the new Ghostbusters movie have been received very well. And I love this in conjunction with I said a couple of episodes ago with the Ghostbusters that someone actually commented saying this is number 3. This is actually number 3, not the female Ghostbusters movie. Which I 100% agree. And I haven't even seen it yet. So yeah, with the MC2 line, you move one, they're all gonna move back, and it's just gonna keep going on and on and on. And right now, I don't want them to delay anything else. But speaking of other Disney TV shows that everyone needs to go check out, high recommendation, especially from Mark. He demanded I mention this. High recommend is Star Wars Visions. This is a new TV show that's coming onto Disney Plus, and that's getting released on the 22nd of September. See, like I have for TV shows, there's no delay on that. I can go watch that at any motherfucking time. Which is nice. I'm swearing because it's nice to see something without being delayed. So Star Wars Visions, that trailer dropped in the past week, and that looks utterly fantastic. I have to be honest. It's different anime and Japanese creators of drawers that are doing different episodes in different visual representations of the Star Wars universe, and it looks stunning. It's like a match made in heaven combination. I rewatched the trailer the other day, and I'm like, some of the characters look familiar, some characters I don't know, but I'm all in to see this, and especially seeing the lightsaber duels, seeing someone's characters are just standing there with a lightsaber. I'm like, is weird thing is like, it's gorgeous. Like, that's art, which I 100% agree in TV show and video games. That's still an art form. If you go back and watch the most recent MCU Phase 4 movies, and TV shows, there's different scenes that you just look and go, that's a gorgeous shot. It looks perfect. Which, this Star Wars one is obviously drawn in animation, and it looks great. 100% go check it out. I'm so pumped for it. Mark's chipping at the bit for it, and that should be really good to go see. So without further delay, let's get into The Spiderverse. Look, if I was going to talk about my top heroes of all time, first one's Batman, because I've got a Batman tattoo. Had to get one. Batman, Iron Man, Captain America, Wolverine, in that kind of order. The Punisher. Punisher I love because of the fact that he's just the anti-hero that's like no nonsense, just like, oh, you're a bad guy, gone, straight up. But yeah, Captain America, all of them, and obviously John Wick. John Wick's a hero. Obviously not a superhero, but could be in the same vein. But Spider-Man's also up there. I enjoy. I actually recently watched. I'm actually going to go watch all the original Spider-Man movies with my partner, and we watched the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. I remember watching and thinking, at the time, obviously back then, turn the clocks 20 years ago, it was a novelty to get a superhero movie. You'd be like, oh my god, because back then it was Spider-Man, X-Men, and with the gap to go see these were much bigger. You had to wait that little bit longer, and now we're just treated to anything and everything, which is I'm loving. But yeah, Sam Raimi trilogy it's really good. It's really good. I honestly, Spider-Man 3 is the letdown, which sometimes in a trilogy, that happens more often than not. And, with a very slim amount of people, with everything that is happening these days, anything's possible. I'd be 100% up for Old Man Spider-Man 4. And having Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi come back, I think it'd make a shit ton of money. Set it in its own universe. Don't have to connect it to anything, but just like Old Man Logan, Old Man Spider-Man 4, and training up Miles Morales, anything like that. I think it'd be a lot of fun. If you go search on the internet, there's a whole bunch of drawings of what it was originally going to be, and it was going to have Lizard. But, Sony just decided to be a pussy and be like, reboot button. And then we got the Amazing Spider-Man, which, funny enough, they pressed that button again, but they pressed that button again after Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then we got Tom Holland. So, everything happens for a reason. But sometimes I think the Sony executives are just, so out of touch. And it just amazes me when people are out of touch, because it's like, they go with these ideas and you're like, who told you that was a good idea? Like, who told you, oh yeah, this is pretty good, you should do that? Like, obviously just a bunch of kiss asses has told them, and, and that's what you get, and that's when you get the bombshell that was Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Which, and the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 is not on my high pecking order. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Andrew Garfield, but what I do appreciate is the suit. I really did like his suit. I just didn't like the two movies. They just didn't. I don't know if it was pent-up aggression because of the fact it wasn't Tobey Maguire, but Andrew Garfield is number 3 on my list. Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield in that order. Yet, even though Andrew Garfield is not on my very top list, I want him, I want him in this Spider-Man movie. So, yes, so finally, the No Way Home trailer got released, and the theories are going left, right, center, up and down. They're everywhere, and I'm so excited for it. And what I mean by the Spider-Verse is, multiverse. That type of method is the fact that anything and everybody's going to rock up. And with this movie, we officially enter that realm. We're getting straight into this, which is another perfect reason for this to happen after Loki. And so I'm, that the trailer. When I'm recording this, that trailer has not only not seen all across the world, it's actually broken the YouTube view, how many views in 24 hours. Originally, Infinity War had 230 million views in 24 hours. And then Endgame, which had 289 million views in 24 hours. Spider-Man No Way Home has cracked that with 355 million views in 24 hours. That's insane. The fact that, that many people watch it, that many people were excited for it. So, how it starts off, please go check it out. Please 100% go check it out. Add more views to that. So, how it starts off is obviously the ramifications of the fact that now, because of Mysterio, everyone knows who he is. So, he's dealing with that, dealing with going to school, and then obviously he figures out he can ask Doctor Strange to try and, do a memory spell or some kind of thing, so the fact that everyone forgets that he's Spider-Man. So he goes to Doctor Strange's house. It's all, it's all got white snow everywhere, like it's been through a snowstorm. I'm guessing the reason why that's happened is the fact that they haven't actually fixed the hole in the roof from when the Hulk came through after Infinity War, because they're still dealing with that. And obviously I'm guessing there was a lot that Doctor Strange had to deal with after Endgame. So I'm guessing that's why. And you see Wong head off, which I'm 95% sure Wong's heading off because he's in Shang-Chi. And you see him versing Abomination. So that's probably where he won't. I don't know if how much we'll see Wong. And yeah, Doctor Strange agrees to help Peter try and do a spell. They try and do the spell, and because Peter won't shut up, he wrecks the spell, and then topsy-turvy, we enter Inception. There's a massive Inception scene in it, massive Inception vibes. And as you're going into it, then obviously all these villains start rocking up, and the fact is, like, you see the Green Goblin bomb. You hear William Dafoe's laugh, which it's 80% confirmed. 80% confirmed that William Dafoe is coming back. Which, yes, print money, and the fact that Doc Ock, Alpha Molina, is back as Doc Ock, which he obviously confirmed he was, and he doesn't, thanks to the wonderful world of CGI, he does not look like he's aged in a day. And yeah, right at the end, it just gives you so much chills because he's like, "Hello, Peter," and boom, instantly I feel a kid watching Spider-Man 2 again, which Spider-Man 2 is nearly the near perfect Spider-Man movie. Go watch it. If you want to, I showed you this earlier. If you want to know more about Spider-Verse, the best way to start and all that I would check is checking Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's a great movie. It's a great comic book movie visually, and as I said in my recent episode for those about to save the world, the soundtrack for that is also fantastic. But that really dives in what the Spider-Verse is, and it's anything and everything can happen. But yeah, you hear those two villains, and then also Jamie Foxx has confirmed the fact he's coming back, and it looks like there's also a type of sandstorm. So I do believe that Sandman's also they're going into that Sinister Six vibes. But apparently, with Doc Ock, Alpha Miller apparently said the fact his character is plucked straight out of the water from Spider-Man 2. Sorry, spoiler alert, he dies in Spider-Man 2. If you haven't watched it, you're 20 years too late. Please go check it out. Apparently plucked straight into there. And see, Marvel does this wonderful thing which they've done in their most recent trailers, like Infinity War Endgame, is that they'll shoot scenes that don't really happen, or they'll take characters out that didn't really happen, a little bit back and forth. So you don't see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in this movie. However, when Doc Ock is talking what you believe to be Peter, he kind of where the scenes sit, it doesn't make sense. And like he's too far away, or he's not standing in the right spot. So it's my thing is that fact is he's actually talking to Tobey Maguire. He's saying hello to because he wouldn't know who Tom Holland is. So there's going to be a lot of villains in here. I know that people are also worried the fact that this movie might be too villain oriented. So not villain oriented, too crowded, which has happened in the past, and not give a whole lot of time. But I think watching Infinity War, watching Endgame, I have complete faith in Marvel that fact that they don't suffer from that problem anymore. Especially the fact that, as all these villains I've just mentioned, they're not popping up for the first time. Like, you can go back and you can see their backstory. So, and Marvel knows that, all they have to do is do like one line to give you a really good backstory, because everyone who's watching this is the fact that they've watched all these movies. They know who these characters are. That's what they're appealing to. They're progressing the story that little bit further, opposed to this is Sandman. He is a man made out of sand. This is Doc Ock. He's an octopus man. The Green Goblin. He's a goblin that's green, but he's actually not a goblin. He's actually, Norman Osborn, which Peter will have no idea who Norman Osborn is because they haven't mentioned him in the new Spider-Man movies. So that's going to be interesting, Because I remember ages ago there was a whole theory that because of the fact the Avengers Tower was getting sold, which you saw in I think it was Ant-Man. No, in first Spider-Man, you saw that they were taking everything out because they were moving to the Avengers base. And I know that there's been theories running around saying the fact it's either going to be the new Fantastic Four building or it's going to be Oscorp. Either. So, yeah, it could be the fact that it could be Norman Osborn. Which I definitely... If it's William Dafoe, I'm down. He did a fantastic job as Green Goblin. But yeah, as I was saying, so they don't need to really introduce these characters a whole lot for you to know, to understand it. So, the fact you're going to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, no one's going to turn around and go, who are these? And if if my kid goes to me, oh, who's Tobey Maguire? Who's this Spider-Man? I'd be like, oh, sorry, I failed as a father. We're going to leave the theater. We need to come back and, waste all my money. So, yeah, the trailer starts with it, and you do see little tidbits. There's a mystery box in it. You don't know really why. There's a new suit, a new black suit that Tom Holland wears that Lego kind of, like, spoiled, and it looks like gives him, like, mystical powers in, that kind of way. And apparently even Tom Holland said on his Instagram page that this is a tip of the iceberg, which I 100% think it is. I think that with this trailer... Marvel have done the exact same thing with Endgame first trailer. If you go back, you watch the first trailer for Endgame and knowing what's to come, that trailer gives you absolutely nothing. There is nothing. That trailer, which obviously was so pumped for, that trailer actually, which I said to Dean and Mark when it first came out, was that told us nothing. We know they're assembled. We know that there's going to be some big battle, but like, we know absolutely nothing. He didn't tell us anything, which kind of like this trailer for Spider-Man kind of did that same thing. Like, because we already knew he was going to bump into Doctor Strange. We already knew the fact that Doc Ock was appearing and all these rumors circulating. So it doesn't really tell us. Like, it wasn't until the second trailer that we actually bring it down, which... I think, 100%. Now, I 100% think that's what Marvel have done, and they know how to do it very well, opposed to DC. That's like, here's 3 trailers, and there's going to be a lot of these scenes that don't actually end up in the movie or actually reshoots because we don't know what we're effing doing. But yeah, please go watch it. Please go watch the new Spider-Man trailer, and I can't wait for it. And I'm actually kind of bummed as well, is that in the US, Spider-Man actually comes out on December the 17th. In Australia, we're receiving it on Boxing Day, which is for you international people. That's the day after our little day after after Christmas, which is also a sweet public holiday. However, it kind of sucks. Because the fact that's roughly about 2 weeks, and I'm going to have to go Facebook dark for this because I want to go in blind. Like, there's a big part of me that wants to go in blind and be like, whoa, wow. And there's another part of me that's like, find out everything. Find out every little tidbit. Scour the internet. Go on Reddit. Go on the back door of the internet. So I'm going to think I'm going to have to go Facebook dark for 2 weeks after this movie gets released, because I just know the spoilers are going to fly everywhere and it's going to go nuts. The interesting thing is whether or not, which to this day, even with that trailer, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have actually not been officially confirmed for this movie. There's been people who've leaked that they're appearing or leaked photos which could be docked, but yeah, look, it's not confirmed, and when they do, the internet's going to blow up all over again. Another thing I do hope for, I'm pumped for this, everything that comes out, 100%, which I don't think is any detriment or any damage to Tom Holland, but I think if they do make Spider-Man, they're going to make Spider-Man 4, without a shadow of a doubt. I feel like when they go make Spider-Man 4, by the time how old Tom Holland is going to be, that if they make Spider-Man 4 before Avengers 5, I feel like it needs to be his own movie. Like, he needs to be adult Spider-Man, if you know what I mean, as opposed to, Spider-Man Homecoming, there was Iron Man, and there was Spider-Man Far From Home, he had Nick Fury, and in this one he has Doctor Strange. Like, I don't think he needs that father figure anymore after this movie. I think they can do that. I think Spider-Man 4 will have to be entirely his own journey. Like, his solo. Like, still have cameo, still have different characters pop up 100%. Like, I want to see him cross over with Shang Li or, with any other Marvel character. Thor. That would be really cool. However, but I feel like he needs to be the forefront and be the leader. Like, he doesn't need to have that. I feel like with these three movies, Civil War, Endgame, and Infinity War, he's played the teenage card. And I think Marvel need to move on from that. Like, he needs to, 100%. I feel like after all this, he needs to fill in those shoes as a leader of the Avengers in Avengers 5. Like, he needs to be that primary pillar, as in Iron Man and Captain America. And I have no doubt that Marvel will honour that. And I just hope that's how they'll go moving forward. But yeah, that is my little tidbit on the whole Spider-Man movie. Go check that out. In video game news, moving on. What I saw was really cool is that apparently there's a rumor going around that I saw the fact that apparently Grand Theft Auto are making a remastered trilogy. Rockstar doing a remastered trilogy of the original 3, Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. Which, if that is true, no confirmation. Apparently it's meant to come out in November this year. But if that is true, I'm sold. Take my money. Grand Theft Auto 3 was a fantastic game. Grand Theft Auto Vice City was another fantastic game, and that was gorgeous. I loved soundtrack. I can hear the soundtrack in my head. And, it was actually Grand Theft Auto Vice City would be the one that I started when you start playing and you drive around the car and you don't actually get out of the car yet because it's such a good song. You still want to listen to it. And you're like, yeah, this is pretty good. And obviously, that carried on with San Andreas, which blew everything out of the water because the map was so big. You could do so many things. You could fly jets, jetpack, Area 51. There was so much. Grove Street. There was the gang wars. So I'm all down for this in PlayStation 5 graphics. And I'm also going to buy Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 with the PlayStation 5 update. I'm going to redo that as well because I'm a simp. And I say that, but at the same time, they've just announced Skyrim again for PlayStation 5. My God, that cow has been milked. And I get it 100%. Even though I can't remember his name, but the owner, the creator of Skyrim is like, why do you keep porting it? He's like, because you guys keep buying it. Like you guys keep buying it. Like, it's not, it's a great game in the fact that we're not doing a lot to the game, but you guys keep buying it for every system and you guys keep playing it. So it's not like we're doing anything wrong and we're not staying it because obviously, they're still making other games. So yeah, Grand Theft Auto Remastered Trilogy, I'm all up for that. I do remember Rockstar saying the fact that they said that they would only remaster a game if it was, if they thought it was worth it. Now, obviously, 100% of the time, nearly anything they touch turns into gold. I'm still waiting for Bully 2, Rockstar, but I feel like if they do it as a pack, not individually, I think that'd be really good idea, and I think it'd be really cool. Obviously, you can play all 3 games right now on the PlayStation or Xbox Store, but due to obviously being PlayStation 2, they could really do, especially Grand Theft Auto 3, could do with a really good facelift. It's funny because you're going to play Grand Theft Auto 3, and the fact that there's only 1 page of dialogue for that main dude. And the fact that he doesn't talk for the whole thing. I thought it was really cool with San Andreas as well that you went back to Grand Theft Auto 3. That was cool. Oh no, was that Grand Theft Auto 4? Could be Grand Theft Auto 4. Which Grand Theft Auto 4 is also still a fantastic game as well. So, yes, that was really good, and I'm pumped for that. Speaking of that Gran Thero style, a Saints Row reboot has been announced to be released in February 25th next year, 2022. Looks like they're going back starting from scratch. Trailer doesn't give a whole lot, but Saints Row it kind of went out there and played more of its silliness opposed to Grand Theft Auto. But those games were a lot of fun. Like, they had their moments, but some of the cameos of the characters that rocked up and what you get, the customization was a lot of fun. Actually, Saints Row 2, the metal radio station was actually fantastic. That selection was fantastic. A lot of those songs was great. It's funny, I actually downloaded Saints Row 2 a couple of months ago for the Xbox store and had really did that. I was like, this was so much fun. A lot of crazy fun, especially when you have the katana blade and you start chopping, having sword fights with people. Chopping limbs off or anything in between. Anyway, so that was, I've got that. So I'm really, it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out, how much they'll go back and how this will come out, like what will be absorbed. Will we actually Saints Row 1, or are they going to take elements from 1, 2, 3, and 4 all together and put into this game? So that'll be really good. So I'm looking forward to that. And the last one, but not least from this lovely episode, is Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Now, I haven't had a chance to play this game as of yet. So, lucky enough, Dean and Mark have given me their review. So, Mark's review of it was the fact that he felt it was average. It doesn't add a whole lot to the story. Apparently, it harps up about how he didn't save his father, which seemed to be a little bit repetitive. He believed it was a nice extra, but it was not like it wasn't for the price. Like how much you paid for it and how much content they were saying it's going to be in it wasn't worth the dollar value. His little rating system was the fact it was 6 out of 10. But Mark still loves it all the way, goes to Tsushima all the way through. He just felt this didn't add a whole lot to the game. It wasn't a whole lot. Dean said it was good overall. He liked it. His more thing was the fact that it was a similar thing, wasn't worth the price tag for the content. However, he did say that it might have affected him and Mark a little bit more because they've completed the game and then they've gone back and done this, opposed to for someone who completely picks up this game from fresh and starts this whole thing. It can actually, it does add that little bit more of context, which is very true. And it's always, anything with extra content, there always comes that price tag, and you're like, was it worth it? Wasn't, could I have just not paid that amount of money? But you're talking to a guy that plays City Skylines and buys every single extra pack for his city. That's a good game. That's SimCity. Go check it out. A lot of fun. But I've seen majority of reviews for the Director's Cut has been not... It's been good, but it hasn't, let's say, boom, this is fantastic. It hasn't blown anything out of the water. It's just been, essentially, probably the best way to put it, it's just been a nice little extra. That's it. That's it to the whole of the game. But guys, that was my review, a review for the Ghost of Tsushima, the Director's Cut. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Thank you for joining me every single episode. And go check out my horror episode with my sister. Go check out my latest new little feature I tried with some music, which is for those about to save the world. Obviously, go check my Instagram page. And also, if you want any merch, Lights, Camera, Rant. And until next time, guys.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.